Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Hunkered Down with Seth. Today we have somebody I am thrilled to reconnect with. She has a podcast. Now, I'm not a podcast person, but I do listen to her podcast. It's called Hi, I Think You're Nice. And just the moment I met her, she has just been the friendliest, nicest, one of the most easy to love people you'll ever meet. Sarah Hanchar. Sarah, welcome to the show. Thank you for being you.
Hi! Oh my goodness. Thank you, Seth. I want to weep a little bit. That was so kind. Thank
Yeah,
you. You're
I
easy
tell
to
it's
love, though.
yeah, I tell it straight. I tell it hardcore. I don't mince words.
Yeah, this is straight cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, doll baby. I think you're an angel, and I always enjoyed my time with you when you were here before you left us. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame rent.
Oh, I do, and I will.
Yes. So, how have you been coping? How's life up in Seattle, and how have you been dealing with the quarantine?
Life in Seattle has been kooky. Um, at first I was afraid, I was petrified. Just kidding, I'm still afraid and petrified. Um, but we've been coping pretty well. I think I'm lucky to have a buddy during all of this. My husband is here. His name is Patrick. I call him P Funk, and we have two dogs, so we at least have some like life in our house that keeps us entertained and keeps us busy. Oh my God, Seth, the amount of fetch I'm playing with our new dog Reginald is insane. It's like a third of my day is
Oh,
playing fetch.
that's cool. Why Reginald?
Yeah.
What? Explain the name.
Reginald. Well, we have the dog we currently had before Reginald is Horatio, uh, Admiral Horatio Hornblower. So we wanted to have a similarly fancy name, and so we went with Reginald, who is also one of my favorite characters from Star Trek: Next Generation. Reginald Barclay, Lieutenant. I think he's a lieutenant. Yeah, and Reg for short. We don't care for Reggie if I'm being honest,
Oh,
which I am.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and I don't know. I'm assuming you don't know much about sports, but
You are correct.
yeah, one of their absolute best players of all time was Reggie White. So when I meet Reginald, I might just go Reggie.
Oh, it's okay. I'll allow it this one time for
Yes,
you.
I get the pass. I'm on the bucket list of that, the exemption list.
Yeah. I've actually heard of Reggie White. That's a name I've heard. He must be really, really famous or
Yes,
really, really good.
he's one of the
Okay.
all-time greats. He's when it comes to defensive players in football, he's always mentioned in the top five.
Okay, cool. My husband used to be into football, not so much these days, mostly because we don't haven't had cable for like 5 years, and he's just like, I don't care anymore. But back in the day, I'd watch the occasional football game, and that name sounds familiar.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
that's there we are. So cool dog. So how? Let me ask you this: how's the walks with the dog? Like, I'm serious about this. When you walk, what's the social distancing with them? Do you get like people
Be
walking by, and do they do 6 feet from the
honestly,
dogs?
I haven't. We haven't taken him for a walk because he is so. We have a nice backyard. So we have a well. Sorry, if you saw my backyard, you wouldn't think, oh, this is a nice backyard, but it is a nice sized backyard. So we just play in the backyard all day. Um, so we haven't taken him on a walk for a number of reasons. One, I worry about social distancing because my neighborhood, I live in SeaTac, we don't really have sidewalks all of the time. So walking isn't particularly safe or enjoyable, so we just mostly have our playtime out in the yard. And also, oh, our sweet Reginald, he's a rescue. He has a lot of emotional baggage, and he scream cries like a toddler anytime you correct him or try to put him in a heel position, or just tell him to like don't cross the street yet. It's like and it's loud and awful and everyone looks and it sounds like we're beating him and he's just being melodramatic. Now if we do that same correction at home or in the yard, nothing, not a peep, not a sound. He's a happy good boy. But the minute we're in public, it's awful. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I should have mentioned to the listening viewing audience, Sarah is one of the best, most prolific singers I've met in improv. She's one of those. I could see you as one of those people like when you reach age 80, you're just going to be breaking out into song and delighting little kids from coast to coast.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah. That,
I do love the singing.
yeah, that is something. How'd you start in the whole singing? Was it just like start in the choir and then you never let go?
Kind of. Yeah, I was fortunate. I grew up in the theatrical world. My mom was a actor, stage manager, costumer when I was a kid. So I just kind of grew up in a green room and grew up singing all the time. And by the time I was in high school, I became actively interested in pursuing voice lessons and stuff. So I had a few voice lessons in high school, and then when I shipped off to college, I was like for real and for serious. And I studied theater in college, a little college in Santa Fe called College of Santa Fe. It no longer exists, so
Would that happen to be
it,
the same college that our mutual friend Kent went to?
absolutely, that's how we bonded initially. Was over, yeah, the College of Santa Fe, Kent Whipple.
Kent Whipple, one of
Yeah.
my favorite people alive. He will be on an
Oh my
upcoming
gosh,
show. Don't worry, folks.
he should be because he's great.
Oh, absolutely. We did this thing called Jew and Gay Q&A, and it's just a lot of fun.
So who's who?
Well, I'm such a good actor. I play the Jew.
Yes, fantastic. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so. So did that happen, or that's something you want to do?
We've
Keep
done it
doing.
twice, and then I
Oh my God.
packed up and left to California.
Ah, yes.
So
To chase the gold rush,
yeah,
like the 49ers.
I sort of took us off on a little tangent there. So theater background. What was your ultimate dream? Who did you want? Who did you picture yourself seeing like
Oh,
as your optimum self?
to be to be honest, all I ever wanted to do was work at like I wanted to make people laugh and smile. I never had any designs on being like super famous or being a household name or anything like that. My dream was originally when I was a kid, I want to work at Hershey Park and just be an actor singer there. And I was fortunate enough to actually work for Walt Disney World for 8 years. Never worked at Hershey Park. One of these days, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. But I went to Disney, worked for Disney and Universal, and was a daily actor. Basically living my dream, and then I had a crisis at the age of like 27 because I'm like, oh crap, now I've done the thing that I've always dreamed of doing. Now what? So yeah, now I'm in search of a new dream, or a different one at least.
Yeah, well, so far so good. I mean, you've been doing improv. I'm guessing for 13 years.
Yeah, let's see. I was at Second City, beep bop boop bop boop bop boo. Probably learning in 2005. I was in the conservatory, and then I was actively working for them in a show by 2006. So whatever, however many years that is.
Oh,
Yeah, 14. Yeah, 13, 14 years. Good guess. Look at you doing life math.
I know. It's a gift and a curse. So that's good. Yeah, and I remember the first time we were talking. The first thing you recognized about me, I was wearing a shirt That was oh, what was it? With the it was sort of like bumper cars, but mixed with whirly ball. I was wearing a whirly ball shirt,
Whirly ball!
and you immediately called out and you said, "Hey, I played whirly ball in Chicago," and I was like, "You were in Chicago? I'm from Milwaukee," and boom, just
Boom.
yeah, that's all you need for a stunning friendship.
You know, that's kind of true, though. It's like, hey, we have this connection. Hey, you're pretty cool. You're pretty cool. Boom. Friendship. Friendship
Exactly.
begun.
We're like Thelma and Louise, but without the bad stuff.
Oh, yeah, minus all that bad stuff. Ugh. Can I tell you something funny about Thelma and Louise, though?
Go right ahead.
Maybe it's not funny, but it's like, my mom hates that movie. She hates that movie. She's like, they're just so stupid. Oh, they're so stupid. So it's not like this movie comes up a lot, but anytime it does, Laura Lee Hanchar, can't rails against that movie. Oh, it's funny.
I mean,
Amusing anyway.
is there's did she like she was an actress, so did she like audition for a part and make the final round and not get it?
No, no, it's not bitterness. It's actually it's her feminism because she's like this, these two women, this is supposed to be like a feminist film, like girl power, but she's like all they do are make the worst possible decisions again and again and again, and it makes us all look bad. I think is her primary beef.
Oh, and I'm
And primary beef is my rock band from high school.
oh yeah, it was the theme to my prom.
Everyone comes as their favorite cutlet. Just
Exactly. Although I turned some heads in my veal costume.
oh, you did. Oh, that was a very risky
Brave.
decision to be a reveal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not a lot of people agree with my choices, but you know what? I go my own route, and
yeah.
I
You do you, boo.
yeah, I do me. So so let's talk about Hi, I Think You're Nice. One of my favorite things to listen to, mainly because I know most of the people that you interview. So
Yeah.
so
It's actually. Oh yeah, go. Sorry, I'm so used to talking like being the interviewee. No, the interviewer that
yeah.
it's really weird for me to sit here and wait for questions. So okay, I'm gonna hush now. What?
Oh, I was just gonna interject and say, first of all, best theme song I've heard for any podcast. I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
telling you, you guys, this if you only listen for the first minute and a half, it'll make your day.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Nick Schill,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, it's actually we were jamming and improvising in my little studio dealie, and so that was just an improvised little ditty. In fact, whenever I posted it and thanked him for it, he's like, "Oh, did we actually record something good enough to use?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, we did." So yeah, so we made that together, and it was super fun. It was Michelle Hippie who was like, "Sarah, you need a theme song. What are you doing?" Only in her Michelle Hippie way, which was
Yeah.
very sweet. But she was like, "Seriously, get a song." So we did.
Oh nice. And what I like about it is there's people with just interests I had no idea about that they could literally talk about for hours, and it's crazy.
That is the primary reason. There are two reasons why I made the podcast. One, I wanted to provide 1 hour once a week of something that is purely 100% super genuinely nice, kind, and supportive, where it's not stressful, it's not shocking, it's not thrilling, it's not like gonna make you stressed out. Just like, oh, that's nice. And also, selfishly, I want to sit down and talk to my friends about the thing that they're passionate about because it's so interesting. Like, when I was talking to Greg Stackhouse about golf, I didn't just learn about golf, I learned about his family and his career, and that he used to be a window washer, and that like all these cool things about him. The same thing with Tony Beeman. We talked about photography was our jumping off point, but I also learned that he and his team at Microsoft are responsible for killing off Clippy from Microsoft Word. So like you learn all these amazing things when you get to sit down with your friend and just have a chat. It's such a joy. It really, really is.
Yes, but now, if I'm interviewing you, what's your hidden secret passion that you could talk about for hours? What's
Oh gosh.
what's the one thing? I'm putting you on the spot right here because I think you're nice. So,
Oh, thank you. If I had to, okay, at this moment in time, I would say Jackie Chan movies.
ooh,
I love Jackie Chan.
absolutely. What's your favorite, or what are some of your favorites? Let's put it
Oh
at
gosh,
that.
yeah, it's hard to pick a top, absolute top. If I had to pick, it balances between Legend of the Drunken Master, otherwise known as Drunken Master 2,
Yep.
and uh, Rumble in the Bronx, because Rumble in the Bronx was my first Jackie Chan movie that I saw, and it blew my damn mind. It was basically me and my brother and like two other people in this teeny tiny movie theater in State College, Pennsylvania. And I was like, who is this guy? He's amazing. And this is a wacky movie. Are you familiar with Rumble in the Bronx by any chance?
I saw it in the theater.
Were you one of the other three people who were there?
Not well, not in College Park. I think they took that reel, sent it to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I saw it in the
Okay.
aptly named Oriental Theater.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Did they show a lot of like Asian films from, or is it just like that was just the name of the theater,
It's
like
the
the
name.
Chinese promise?
It was one of those theaters that was built in the '30s and it stuck around, and it's famous
Oh,
for
okay.
having the longest continuous Saturday night midnight showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show in the U.S.
Well, really?
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and
Neat.
that's where I saw Rumble in the Bronx. It,
Awesome. That theater has a pretty cool legacy then. I'm
oh,
I am
it
pro that theater.
it's a staple.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, I
Yeah,
want to throw
I
out First Strike is one of my favorites.
excellent. That's a good one. Absolutely, we just watched it.
Wonderful, and I forgot I've watched a compilation. That's the word on YouTube of his best
It is.
fights. There's this one of like in the '80s where he's fighting this guy, and then in the middle of it, he just thinks to himself, treat it like a training session. So he takes a chair, just sits on it, goes, "Hold on 1 second," and then he fights the guy, and then he's like, "Yeah, nice move, nice punch, nice kick." I've never seen any fight scene like that. It was so funny.
Oh, well, that sounds amazing. That's not familiar to me, so I'm gonna have to look up that movie. Um, but what is so funny about, or what's so wonderful about Jackie Chan's choreography is that it is comedic fighting. So how it's shot, how the shots are filmed when he makes contact with a hit, and the props he uses. We Patrick and I have a joke as we watch these films. We're like, when do we get to the ladder? Because there's always a ladder. He always
Yeah.
fights with a ladder, but it's always exciting because it's always a different type of ladder. Like this ladder's on wheels. This ladder's an A-frame. Like
Yep.
ladders, good times.
Yep. Ladders and bamboo stalks.
Oh, the bamboo stalks. What? Yeah, that's in Drunken Master, right? Is that what I'm thinking of when he splits the bamboo into like
Um,
splinters it
I
and
think
opens it up?
there's also one where he fights an axe gang.
Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking of. Which
Can't
is
remember.
that the one in the 1920s
I,
in like
it might.
with a rope factory?
Yeah, I know. Legend of the Drunken Master is where they have a steel factory and his. Is that the one where like loses the ginger, like the really expensive?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep, that's absolutely. And he uses the bottom of a tree instead, and
yeah,
he makes that guy really sick, and his Dad's pissed. And he has this great either is that his mom or his aunt that or who's playing his mom or his aunt, and she's hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, and it's just I can't. It's hard to describe just over the phone. He just is such a master in that movie. Like it
Truly.
it he choreographs all of it, and you wonder how does he even think of this stuff? Does he have like GI Joes he's just playing around with, and is like, ooh, I could probably do that.
I don't know. I think a lot of it came from his training in the Chinese opera. And it's not opera as we think of opera, the Chinese opera, from what I understand, from my limited knowledge, extremely limited knowledge, because I read I Am Jackie Chan, Man in Action, his autobiography about 20 years ago now. Um, but there are particular shows in this catalog of operas where like, oh, if you're the Monkey King, then you get to do X, Y, and Z, or if you're this person, you get to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm wondering how much of his choreography and like style he pulled from his experience as a Chinese opera dude. That's the name,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that is
That's
exactly.
definitely the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so give us some deeper cuts. What are some Jackie Chan movies that maybe we wouldn't know about that you would highly recommend?
Okay, this movie, I love this movie. It is odd in many ways. It's called Gorgeous, and it's basically two outstanding boxing matches. I think they're probably like the final fight is probably one of the most masterful boxing fights I've ever seen Jackie do. It's tight, it's clean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Um, Now the storyline in Gorgeous is pretty silly and funny and weird, but then there's this like weird energy that Jackie has with the romantic lead, but they act like father and daughter in a lot of ways. Like he's picking her up and spinning her around, and my husband's like, "This is what you do with a child." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. This feels weird." So ignore that part and focus on the really tight choreography in those fights.
Hmm.
It's yeah, that's probably one of the deeper cuts, but excellent fight. Such a good fight.
Oh, absolutely. Your opinion on Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights?
Okay, okay. Here's the thing. When I was first getting into Jackie Chan, I really liked those movies because um, they were silly and fun, and they had uh, like like a good budget, and they had actors, and it wasn't overdubbed or a lot of times now you can get stuff where it has closed caption, not closed caption, but it has subtitles,
Yeah.
which are infinitely better than having stuff dubbed. I hate stuff that's dubbed. Um, so it was kind of nice to have that. However, the fight choreography isn't shot as well. It's not filmed as well, and so the hits don't hit as hard, and the comedy doesn't land as quite as well. However, they're still clever and charming, and I'll watch Jackie Chan do whatever, even if it is with Owen Wilson. It's fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's the one where if you like Jackie, you got to sit through that. It's like going to your niece's recital. You
You just
just
sit
got
through the other kids.
yep.
Yeah.
All right.
But even then, like, and I like Owen Wilson. I actually do. I just, with a lot of that kind of jibber jabber comedy, it just he needed to hush more, learn by Jackie's example, and be quiet more.
Oh, definitely. All right. So rounding third, coming on home. Uh, you're on a Unexpected Productions. Whoop whoop. Unexpectedproductions.org. Check it out. Murder mystery show this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something else? Sorry. I just
No, no.
I don't
What?
talk to anybody fast.
No, I am. All I want to do is shut up and listen to you talk about it because I am psyched with anything UP does.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think you're gonna really enjoy this. Excuse me. It is a a mystery hour, probably in a likely, well, just a mystery style. We don't know what style it is going to be exactly, as it is improvised, but it's going to be in the style of an old radio show. So we're going to figure out the technology that we have and create really fun characters, do our own sound effects, and we'll create a mystery and solve that mystery. And the part I'm looking forward to are the commercials. I love old timey commercials. So I'm hoping to participate in that part especially.
Yeah, with the Chesterfield cigarettes and the people who talk fast and they have their pants all the way up to their shoulders.
What was our ad? Our ad was for uranium toothpaste. You'll see a smile for a mile. Uranium toothpaste. Like, that was during rehearsal.
Sounds like the cat's meow right there. After this, let's go to
It
Ray's
sure
Boom Boom
is.
Room. See Lady Day. She sings like a canary. Unless you don't have the apples.
Exactly. You don't
Yes.
have the apples, I'll get you the barrel. Wait, what?
No, that's the best part. You can just make up anything. Like Chesterfield cigarettes. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend him.
Lungs need smoke. That's how you know that they're lungs.
So, finishing out, who's in the cast of this, and I'll give a little my true, honest, personal feelings about each one as you name them.
Okay, that is a great question. Well, it's a big cast. Technically, there's like 30 of us. But as for the show that's coming up on Saturday, if you can hold on for just 1 second, I'm pulling it up right now. Okay, ready. And we've got Adrian.
Beautiful,
We've got Cheryl Platts.
best person alive,
We've got Laurel.
greatest person alive,
Okay, then there's me. And you already said that I was great.
amazing,
We've
yes,
got Cynthia. We've got Cynthia Lair.
perfect in every aspect,
Jill Purcell.
just wonderful. Nothing I could think of, no flaws, no flaws.
No flaws. Agreed. Tim Harahan.
Very, very underrated. I absolutely am a huge fan of him.
Me too. I can't. I love his work because it's super, super duper clever, and he is proving to be a huge asset in a lot of these online technical shows. Sorry, that was me interjecting.
Yeah,
Okay, back to the list. We've got Luke.
great.
We've got Tim Tracy.
He's my bud. I loved him.
Who doesn't love Tim? And we've got Tony Beeman.
I absolutely respect Tony as much as anybody there is.
I do too. And David Bistock.
Oh,
Bestock.
I love Bestock. It's great. Anything he does is worth watching or listening to.
And that and then music will be done by Jason DeLeo.
He is adequate.
Oh, what a butt! You're such a butt.
I say that me and Jason are great. We
Okay.
poke fun at each other all the time.
Well, that was a great one to land on then, and that's the crew for Saturday.
Oh, unexpectedproductions.org for more information on that. Uh, Hi, I think you're nice. Definitely check it out. Any episode is completely perfect. And Sarah, always great hearing your voice. Always great hearing your singing. If there's anything else, just say it right now or forever hold your peace.
Oh, well, I just want to thank you so much for talking to me, Seth. It's been genuinely nice to speak to another human that isn't my husband or my two dogs.
Oh,
So I hope you're holding up well, and thank you so much for chatting with me.
anytime, anytime. And thank you for listening to Hunkered Down with Seth.